We are halfway through the year. Your journal sits there, pristine, untouched. And there's this little knot in your stomach every time you glance at it. I've been there. That perfect journal you bought at the beginning of the year with those good intentions. Now just a reminder of you doing something you were supposed to do. But here's what I've learned after years of staring at blank pages. The magic doesn't live in perfection. It lives in showing up, in finding the method that works for you, which might take some time figuring out. I know it took me years figuring out what I wanted to write about, what I like to write about, and how I write. Today, I am sharing 10 journaling prompts that will hopefully get you into the habit of journaling. In the early days of getting into the habit of journaling, guided journal prompts are your best friend. These beauties come with prompts, consistency. Basically, someone else did the heavy lifting of figuring out what to write about. I remember when I was going through this process, I would give myself a question every day to answer. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And it doesn't have to be super deep or introspective either. You can write about anything. It could even be a much simpler question like, what's your favorite color and why? Maybe put a collage together of things that are your favorite color. I find prompts push you to places your free writing might not go. I personally don't use journal prompts as much as I used to, but boy, did they help in the beginning. If a guided journal prompt sounds overwhelming, let me introduce you to my busy day lifesaver. 1 line a day. Sometimes life moves fast, whether or not you're ready for it. And that's when this method shines. Just 1 sentence. That's it. For instance, today, I finally figured out how to use a drill, or saw the most incredible sunset on the way home today. It literally takes seconds. But here's the thing, when you look back on it months later, those single lines tell a story. I sometimes do this method when I'm particularly in a chaotic season, and it taught me, even on the hardest days, there's always something to share. This next one might feel vulnerable at first, but trust me, Unscent Letters became my secret weapon for processing big emotions. Write letters you'll never send, whether that is to your younger self, to someone who hurt you, or to the version of you that's scared to take the next step. I've been using this method quite a bit because if it's someone or a particular situation that I'm ruminating on for an absurd amount of time, what I'll do is write about it. Why is this bothering me? Why do I feel this way? It's this cathartic experience that once I write it down on paper, I can let it go. Because sometimes we need to say things out loud or on paper without the pressure of an actual conversation. The beauty, you can be completely honest, raw, unfiltered. It's like having a therapist who never judges but always listens. When my mind feels like a browser with 47 tabs open, list can save me. Structured lists are not just about organization. They're about finding clarity in chaos. My go-to list, a list for the things I'm grateful for, ideas that won't leave me alone, tiny victories, like, yes, I remembered to water the plants this week. That also counts. And one of my regulars, a good old-fashioned brain dump, where everything and anything pours out. There's something almost meditative about creating order from mental clutter. Plus, lists are perfect when you're too tired to find the words for a full entry, but still want to maintain that journaling momentum. I read this book last month, Orbital by Samantha Harvey. This book is about 6 astronauts and cosmonauts who are orbiting Earth, and it's just following their experience, and it really is a beautiful, beautiful book. There are these lists by the astronauts. This example is surprising things, the imagination. Jackie Onas's mode of death, jump in groin. The dinosaurs, a blue pen with a red lid. Green clouds, children in bow ties. It's just a list of surprising things. I think there's just something so simple and romantic about an ordinary list. I think we're just trapped under this idea that everything has to be beautiful, beautifully said, right? I need to know how to articulate what I'm saying or be eloquent. Like I need to be Joan Didion or something, but we're not. I'm not Joan Didion. I don't write like Joan Didion, but there's something therapeutic about writing, and you can achieve a daily entry in your journal by just simply writing down a list. Method 4 was about a structured list, but what about a done list? We're so good at listing out things that we haven't done yet, but what about celebrating things that we have done? I started doing this years ago, shortly after college. That was when I discovered Passion Planner. I was done with college, didn't have a job, so I wasn't really doing much. Therefore, I wasn't writing things down in my planner. I didn't have things to do. So to combat that negative mindset, what I would write down were the things that I did accomplish. And it was all of just the little things, right? Making the bed, had a healthy breakfast, didn't spend money today, went to sleep at a reasonable time, I cleaned out the fridge. I think creating a list like this helped me at a time where I felt like I was failing at everything. There was so much pressure at the time to succeed. Turns out I was doing so much. I just wasn't noticing. This simple shift from to do to done completely changed how I see my productivity. Okay, this one's for my visual thinkers. Mind mapping. Start with one word in the center, then let your thoughts branch out like a tree. No rules, just connections. One of the most recognizable mind maps on my channel is Passion Planner's Roadmap. Now, that is, something that I do every year because it's a very extensive goal overview, trying to, create actionable steps to reach those big goals that I have. But a mind map doesn't have to be that deep. You can create a mind map about anything. And I did so earlier this year. I believe it was February. Valentine's Day was this month, and I also like to concentrate on self-care, loving myself, taking care of myself more. I drew out a mind map of the things that bring me peace. Super simple. It's like giving your mind permission to play without thinking too much about it. Let's not hyperfixate on whether something's right or wrong. How about just writing to just write and just see what you come up with? And honestly, some of my best ideas come from setting a timer and just writing out a mind map. Ask me what I did last weekend, and chances are I forgot. I don't know if it's the mommy brain. It's just hard for me to remember most things. Here's a method that saved me from the I should be documenting this guilt. Memory keeping. I dedicated an entire year of just memory keeping. I think I used a Passion Planner and I memory kept every day. I wrote down what I did. Didn't think twice about what I was writing. I was just writing what I did. I woke up this morning. I felt like this. I had breakfast. I went to the store, blah, blah, blah. This isn't about thoughts or anything like that. It's about capturing things before they disappear. And I know memory keeping can, get a little repetitive because you're just writing what you did that day. And most days are pretty ordinary and mundane. I always thought there was beauty to documenting your life, to have an archive of memories to look back on. But I struggled with the pressure of writing something profound about every experience. But eventually, doing it every single day for a year, you learn how to find the story in each day. This one's embarrassingly simple, but it works. An emotional weather forecast. You could try doing this every day. Describe your emotional state like a weather report. Lunchtime, partly cloudy with unexpected sunshine, or storm warning, need self-care. It takes literally 10 seconds, but over time, you start seeing patterns. it's like Mondays for me are always pretty foggy because, after the weekend, getting back into the routine of things, or how certain people can suck the life out of you. They can drain you. It's data disguised as creativity. Plus, there's something gentle about describing your emotions as like a weather report. I especially like this idea because as a mother to a 2-year-old, I'm teaching my son how to regulate his emotions. And the first couple of steps include figuring out what exactly are you feeling and why. Entries filled with drawings, doodles, stickers, stationery, collages, photos. Sometimes when I don't feel like writing anything, I just take out some of my old stickers and vintage journaling supplies, and I just cover an entire page with that stuff. Don't feel discouraged doing something like that in your journal, because I know on social media we see people who junk journal and they have like a dedicated journal where there's just pages and pages of these beautiful collages, but I just don't have the time to. So whenever I am in the mood to do something like that, I just use a page in my journal. One time I just painted an entire page blue because that's what I felt like. I felt like painting. I didn't want to think too much about what exactly I was painting. I felt like that conveyed exactly how I was feeling in that moment. Lastly, stream of consciousness. This is also known in the space as morning pages. I believe with morning pages, the moment you wake up, you take your journal and you just immediately start writing. You dedicate 3 pages to all this messiness, just getting everything onto the paper. The beauty is in the messiness. You literally write whatever surfaces. I don't know what to write. This coffee is cold. Why did I stay up so late? You just keep going, and somewhere between complaint 4 and the random thought, second paragraph down, that is where the magic happens. Your subconscious starts talking. And the reason I put this method last on my list is because when I tried morning pages many years ago, it didn't work out for me. Journaling first thing in the morning is not my thing. When I wake up first thing in the morning, I almost feel like it's a clean slate. But what about at the end of the night? I don't know, is evening pages a thing? That always put my mind at rest. Okay, this is closing the chapter on today, and now I'm gonna go to sleep, have a good night's rest, and wake up tomorrow with a clean slate. Here's what I've learned after years of journaling fails and wins. There's no right or wrong answer. Again, it is your journal. Maybe it's your creative outlet, your therapist, your memory keeper, or just a safe space for you to be messy and real. Remember, the magic isn't in perfection and having the perfect journal spread. It's about consistency. So grab whatever journal speaks to you, try these methods, mix them up, make them yours. Because somewhere between that first awkward sentence and the very last entry in your journal, you'll find what you're looking for. I'll see you all in the next one.